Think women have the same rights as men? Check out these ridiculous laws that are still on the books in several countries around the world. A permit to wear high heels in California. In Carmel, California, all women who want to wear high heels that exceed 2 inches with a base of less than 1 square inch must get a permit from the city. The law is in place to avoid litigation in case of a fall on city sidewalks. What's next? Airbags for your pumps. Forced mourning for widows in the Philippines. In the Philippines, a widow must wait at least 301 days after the death of her husband before remarrying. The law dictates this waiting period to avoid any confusion over the paternity of a child. No shopping alone in Pakistan. In the northwestern province of Pakistan, women aren't allowed to go shopping without being accompanied by a male family member. The goal is to avoid any distraction for men during the month of Ramadan. The government has demanded that shopkeepers refuse to serve unaccompanied women. No right to vote in Vatican City. Vatican City is the only country in the world where women still don't have the right to vote. To be a voter, you must be a priest, and, since the Catholic Church doesn't ordain women, they can't become voters. Domestic violence permitted in Russia. At the beginning of this year, the Russian parliament legalized domestic violence, as long as it doesn't cause serious harm and only happens on occasion. The law was passed in the name of respect for family traditions. In Russia, 1 woman dies because of domestic violence every 63 minutes. No driving in Saudi Arabia. Women don't have the right to drive in Saudi Arabia. In 2014, a couple was arrested because the husband let his wife drive. Both had to pay a fine and the car was confiscated for 7 days. No choice to divorce in Israel. In Israel, a woman must have her husband's permission to get a divorce. The husband, however, can start divorce proceedings whenever he chooses. In the end, a religious tribunal decides if a divorce may proceed. The panel at the tribunal is made up exclusively of men. No women on the front lines in the UK. The British Army hires women but none can be in combat roles. This means they will have a harder time being promoted than their male counterparts. Also in the UK, it's only been a few years, since 2012, that women have had the same rights as men in terms of succession to the crown. No sole ownership in Lesotho. In Lesotho, women don't have the right to be landowners, unless they have a male co-owner. It's even preferable if the co-owner is their father or their husband. This law is why some women lose their home when their husband dies. As widows, they can't continue to be the owner of their own home. Raped and convicted in Sudan. In Sudan, a woman who has been raped can be convicted for indecent acts. In 2014, a rape victim was sentenced to a fine and 1 month in jail. She was also accused of adultery and prostitution, which could have meant the death penalty. She avoided this fate by proving she was divorced. Kidnapped and married in Malta. On the European island of Malta, a woman's kidnapper won't be convicted if he marries his victim. In some countries, even rape can't be prosecuted if the accused and the victim get married. No Sunday parachuting in Florida. In Florida, the law forbids single, divorced, or widowed women to go parachuting on Sundays. What's so special about Sundays in Florida that a fine or even jail time can be handed out for an infraction? And what happens if a single woman jumps out of a plane on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. and lands after midnight? Is the fine cut in half? Can't leave home in Yemen. In Yemen, women don't have the right to leave their home without their husband's permission. The law only grants exceptions in case of an emergency. For instance, a woman would be allowed to leave home by herself if she needed to rush to the care of her parents. Half a witness in Iran. In Iran, the testimony of a woman is worth only half that of a man. The testimony of 2 women is needed to oppose that of 1 man. This law also applies in Pakistan. No pants in Arizona. In Tucson, Arizona, Women don't have the right to wear pants. It's nothing new. A law dating back to 1800 banned the same thing for the female residents of Paris. At the start of the 20th century, the law was relaxed. Parisian women could wear pants if they were riding a horse or a bicycle, but this French law wasn't abolished until 2013. Fortunately, it's been a very long time since it was actually enforced.